this place very well packed, filled with young men and women who are energized and ready to secure victory for the NDC. And I want to acknowledge your presence. Mr. Chairman, so many good things have been said about you already, Professor Brenya. I think KNUST is very lucky to have you. My colleague, Osman Ayariga, regional officers, our parliamentary candidate, the next member of parliament, and to you sitting here to listen to us, the next executives in various portfolios and positions in the NDC country power. I must say that I am very elated to be with you today. And suffice it to say that since I was here just a few minutes after 10 o'clock, 2 hours before many of you came, you would indulge me if I want to speak for 2 hours. I believe so strongly that the change remains the intellectual wing of the political party we belong to. But we have not well utilized that. We have only said it but not put it into action. And this has really affected us greatly as a political party. Like it or not, with or without your involvement, the NDC will come to power. The question therefore is, do you want to be on the losing side, or you want to be installed on 7th January 2025 as President of the Republic of Ghana? And our brother shall also become a member of parliament. So you decide where you want to be. The role of king is very pivotal in the future of the NDC. And you cannot really take for granted what you are doing today. You are part of history, you are writing history, and you must be proud to be part of this history. One of the key things we all need to pay attention to is discipline. Oftentimes, we belong to political parties and we decide to do things on our own. I was very elated at the various speeches that were delivered by the previous speakers. I listened to my brother JDM very eloquently elucidated whatever there is to tell you as students. It is undeniable that you are only here for your academic progress. But that alone will never be enough. And so when you and myself, who are intellectuals, do not partake in political discourse, the very people we know in the classroom who are expected to say things will take over the political sphere. They will formulate policies for you and I, and on top of that, you have to bring them and say yes sir or no. And therefore, the choice is yours. Do you want to be part of making a better Ghana, building the Ghana that we want together, or you want to join them to destroy the Ghana that we have? It is key for us, therefore, to be very disciplined, and that's one of the roles we have to play as daily. If you are not disciplined, you will not be able to belong. Because even though some of the challenges are telling, if you are disciplined, you will understand the need to endure. But if you are not disciplined, you feel that, no, I have my way. I know my way. I know curriculum better than the PC. Therefore, even if they say we should go left, I will turn right. There are only two candidates the whole party has to actually project now. The presidential candidate and our respective parliamentary candidates. None other. I have said to many people, do not worship me, but you can serve me. Because often when we want to worship people, we end up blindly doing so. But if you need to serve people, you understand it's a service to duty. Some of us here have listened to JDM when he mentioned how diligently he served projectedly. I have known Emmanuel Atanga very well. I have known Seth as well, and many of them here as well. If they were worshiping, they would have been licking food and it would have been time frame. But because they were serving, they knew they were not doing it only for those people. He gave an example of David Olayno. He knew that he served the Olayno, but he knew in service it was to the glory of the NDC. Often, Today, when some of us are to serve, or we try to rather worship instead of serve, immediately we begin to ask what is the reward for us. I was a constituency, a branch communications officer, and I stood for elections to become deputy national organizer today. During our elections, I visited only 6 meetings out of the 16. The 10 others told me, even when you were not an officer, you were coming here, you were in public transport going here and there, please do not come. So you may be doing something unique today, but if you do not continue with that relevance, you will lose out, you will lose team. So it is why discipline is very key. The future of the NDC you and I belong to is you sitting right before me. If you do not exist, the NDC does not exist. But however, you must not admit that you are future leaders, because the future arrived yesterday and we are already very late in catching up. It is the reason why I would want to advise the leadership that maybe next time when you withdraw your programs, you should contact the IT people so that they will generate, for instance, a QR code for you, and so you will only print and post 2 on the doors, and anybody who can scan will be able to have the program lined up so that you save yourself a lot of cost and don't say that we don't have money. So that when, for instance, you are also proud to have a journal, since you are aware that people find it difficult even now buying documents to read, you can make it soft copy. So they just go online and they can read that journal and get the information. How many of us here on campus write articles and do other engagements? When I was in school, I recall that I used to write under the pen name, the Gong Gong Peter. From first year to final year, nobody knew me until when I was contesting for SRC president. Then I said, before you stand, the Gong Gong Peter. So everybody was screaming, oh, so this is the guy who's been attacking management. This is the guy who's writing those articles. It speaks for you, it is the CV you are writing, but it is also an intellectual ability you have demonstrated. So long as we are in school, we should make our academic progress also priority. I always want to share with you what is referred to as the Wilfredo Pareto principle. Wilfredo Pareto, who is an Italian, said that 20% of the world's population possess 80% of the world. It translates to meaning that even if you can put 20% of your effort into something, you are likely to earn 80% of the expected result. And therefore, even though you are here for the academic purpose, it doesn't mean that you should actually engage 100% of your time. Even if you can dedicate 20 to 30% of your time, you will be able to achieve the results that you expect. I wish to also further say that the other role you need to play is to be very tolerant of each other. We are operating in a human institution. We are all gullible. We can all make mistakes. I may step on your toe, you may step on me. You may say something I do not like, you may not like my height, you may not even like my voice. But my voice is not the reason you belong to the NDC. Just actually voice's height is not the reason you belong to the party. The reason you belong to the party is because it is called NDC. And there's something unique about the National Democratic Party, which is left of center. More. You don't need to have an identity such as a family name, family wealth, etc. to belong. Demonstrate your capability and you'll be given the room to operate. Nobody will ask you, which family do you come from? Who is your father? What work do you do? No. It is the reason we need to tolerate each other. And when we are able to tolerate each other, it means we are patient enough. It also means that we are able to endure. Because patience is key, it's virtue. Tolerance masters it all. And that is required of all of us. Oftentimes when we come to speak at gatherings of this nature, we become motivational speakers. After less than 12 hours, everything evaporates. I am looking forward to the next program to be organized by JDM, where you will tell me that before the program starts, we will spend 1 hour reaching out to the dormitories to talk to some of the students. And I think some of the students will be very excited that national officers and regional officers have come to join you today to embark on a 1-hour campaign. I am sure there shall be more dividend from that if we can all abide by it. you are a member of KN and a leader, mind you don't have to be occupying a position in the NDC in the day to be referred to as a leader. So long as, for instance, you have agreed to belong to the NDC, that means that you are a communicator of the party. Because before you reach out to convey someone, you must have a message for the person. There is therefore the need for you to always listen more. When you listen more, you pay attention. When you pay attention, you understand more, or you understand better. You are able to comprehend well. Then you are able to communicate effectively to the people you are reaching out to. In the past 8 years, we have lost 2 elections. We do not want to score a hat-trick in losing elections. So we cannot afford to lose 2024 elections. We cannot afford to disappoint the masses. We cannot afford to disappoint Mahama. But most importantly, do you think that it is His Excellency John Mahama we are voting for is the reason the NDC must win elections? No. I am not his spokesperson, but I believe that I know much to say that. Give or take, even if we lose elections, God forbid, His Excellency John Mahama will be very okay. But it is you and myself who cannot boast of a bicycle too, who believe that our future has been mortgaged. We need to sit up and take this battle on. And not allow people to tell us that NDC, you're not fighting enough. It is because there are too many scandals every day. And the moment you are holding on to one, the next day there's another scandal. This is the NPP fighting against Ghanaians. And we must make people know that since we are an opposition party, we cannot play the money game. We must therefore build relationships now, so that that bond which shall be between us and the electors will make them even take the money from them and will never vote for them. But if you decide to wait, then you are a proud NDC member, and you are not tolerant enough, and you think that if they do not give you a t-shirt, you will not vote for the NDC. If they don't give you a wristband branded NDC, you will not campaign for the NDC. You and myself are already known NDC members. The person in the corner there who was projecting the NPP and so disappointed, they are the ones you need to go and convince and give them one t-shirt to wear. When such a person wears one, many people around who felt that he was a spokesperson for the NPP will be glad to see that there's a way of change people. Who amongst us here can believe that even Alhaji Awanya still goes around talking? The air country. If a dollar to the city was 4 cedis and it was not good, if a liter of fuel, petrol, cost about 4 cedis, and today it is 65, the dollar is 15 crossing the Rubicon of 20, and he still has the air country to say that he has done better. Why would the gentleman in the Holland be telling you and myself that the Dutch passport is worth more than the PhD? Now, here is an incentive for people to make such comments. But we will not focus much on that. We need to get to the people with our message. It is the reason why we need to be very disciplined. We must be tolerant of each other. We must also make sure that we listen more so that we can comprehend and understand what we need to communicate with the other people. This campaign is for all of us. Some of us here, maybe we think our parents are okay and therefore everything will be rosy for us. But we do not know what is happening tomorrow, because this is a very unpredictable government when it comes to corruption. They may come after the father's work. They may come after the family's work. They may come to destroy your business. They just do not care. There's a need for all of us, therefore, to be actively involved. If the NDC has a total base of about 40 to 42 to 45%, it means that even when elections are conducted today, we may not win. But the NPP doesn't have 45, they have 38, 39. However, it therefore means that from today, if every staunch member of the party decides to convince just 2, 3, 4, 5 people who didn't vote the last time, who voted the other way the last time, His Excellency John Mahama doesn't need to be walking in the night in thick of places this campaign. It means that we can win the elections for the NDC. We are an opposition party. We may never have the funds, but we have the brain. You listen to the president in his speech, the numerous people who have done so so well, and the young lady who won an award recently. We are paying a classroom with the same NDC people. What do they know? They believe in cutting corners. That is why you have even some of their parliamentary candidates indicate on their CV that they are past students of University of Cape Coast. Investigations there reveal they are not. And that is not the only one. You know the character of the president himself. Yes. So you should know the character of his followers. But you see, that alone is not enough. We must show and demonstrate anger. Because conditions that were prevalent in 1979 that resulted in the uprising are far worse today than it was then. But Ghanaians are very tolerant enough. We believe that through the power we shall change power. And that is what we shall do come December 7th. It involves all of us. It requires all of us. It means that we must have passion for what we do. Passion is having the energy to do what you are doing without expecting any reward. But if you are expecting of a certain instant reward, you may lose steam. And when you lose steam, you begin to wobble. When you begin to wobble, you may fall. When you fall, you will become lifeless. But when you have passion, even on an empty stomach, you believe that you can still go an extra mile. And it's the reason why we must all make sure that we comprehend. One interesting topic you were discussing when I was here at 10:17 was about the 24-hour economy. I admired the submissions that were made by all of you. It meant that you all understood the 24-hour economy. It is you who are the intellectuals who will take it out into the hinterland. The old folks do not have the leg to do that. But you and myself have the energy. We must explain to people why the 24-hour economy policy is a game changer. It is to provide jobs, and jobs. It is to secure our country and make life better for our country. I want to challenge all of us that living here today, let us put it on ourselves. That not only shall we be worthy ambassadors of the party, not only shall we work hard to make sure that the next member of parliament shall come from the NDC for curriculum, not only shall we make sure that His Excellency Dr. Mahama becomes president, and Ghana shall witness the first female vice president ever, but also, you are writing your own history, and many people who stood here before you, you shall also mount this podium and talk before many others. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Professor. I really love this presentation. So we received an amount from the Ashanti Regional PA directly. Thank you so much, Comrade Professor. Sorry. Please let's give that to them. Before our next speaker, I want to introduce a few people. We are an exhibition from the Institute of Progressive Democracy.